What if the deadliest war in human history began with silence? A silence that slowly turned into the sound of marching boots. The year was 1939. The world was still recovering from the wounds of World War I. But deep inside Europe, anger was growing. In Germany, one man promised revenge. His name was Adolf Hitler. He believed Germany had been humiliated. He wanted power. He wanted land. He wanted a new empire. And the world didn't stop him in time. On September 1st, everything changed. German forces crossed into Poland. Tanks rolled across quiet villages. Fighter planes screamed across the sky. Civilians ran for their lives. Bombs turned homes into dust. The invasion was fast. It was terrifying. Britain reacted quickly, led by Winston Churchill. They declared war on Germany. France followed. And suddenly, the world was at war again. Soldiers began preparing. Families said goodbye. Factories started producing weapons. Fear spread across continents. The conflict was no longer local. It was global. Countries chose sides. Alliances were formed. The Axis powers were rising. Germany was not alone. Italy joined the cause. Japan was expanding in Asia. The world held its breath. Would this war be worse? No one knew the answer yet. But one thing was certain. Peace was gone. Humanity was about to face its greatest test. A storm was coming, a storm made of steel and fire. Millions of lives were about to change. Entire cities would disappear. Empires would fall. Heroes would rise. And history would never be the same again. And history would never be the same again. Part 2. The Blitzkrieg. Germany introduced a new type of warfare. It was called Blitzkrieg, meaning lightning war. Fast attacks. Sudden destruction. Tanks moved quickly. Planes bombed from above. Communication was coordinated. Poland fell within weeks. Europe was shocked. Then came Denmark. Norway followed. Belgium was next. The Netherlands surrendered. Luxembourg collapsed. France was the main target. German forces advanced rapidly. French defenses struggled. Paris was captured. France surrendered. Europe was falling. Britain stood alone. The German Air Force attacked. The Luftwaffe filled the skies. Cities were bombed daily. London burned. Civilians hid underground. Children were evacuated. Night after night. Bomb sirens screamed. Fires spread across the city. But Britain refused to surrender. Pilots defended the skies. They fought bravely. Radar technology helped. German losses increased. The Battle of Britain continued. Hope remained alive. The invasion was delayed. Germany had failed to break Britain. This was the first major defeat. The war was changing. Resistance grew stronger. The fight was far from over. New strategies emerged. More battles awaited. The world was watching. A turning point was coming, and the next chapter would be even darker. The war was spreading fast. In 1941, Germany turned east. They attacked the Soviet Union. Operation Barbarossa began. Millions of soldiers advanced. Villages were destroyed. Cities burned. Winter arrived early. Supplies ran low. Soviet resistance grew. Then Japan made a move. On December 7th, they attacked Pearl Harbor. The United States was shocked. Thousands were killed. Ships were destroyed. Planes burned on runways. America entered the war. Led by Franklin D. Roosevelt, the conflict became truly global. Nations united. The Allies were formed. Britain joined. The Soviet Union joined. The United States joined. China joined. Factories worked nonstop. Soldiers trained daily. Women joined the workforce. Resources were mobilized. Hope was rebuilding, but losses continued. Battles were brutal. Lives were sacrificed. The war demanded everything. Families waited. Letters arrived slowly. Some never came. The future was uncertain. But determination grew. The Allies prepared. The counterattack was coming. The tide would turn slowly, painfully, but surely. Victory would not come easily. More suffering awaited. More courage was needed. The world marched forward, into the unknown. The Allies began to fight back, in North Africa, in Italy, in the Pacific. Battles were intense. Casualties were heavy. But progress was made. The Soviet Union resisted strongly. At Stalingrad, German forces were trapped. Supplies ended. Morale dropped. The Red Army advanced. Germany surrendered there. It was a major turning point in the Pacific. The US Navy fought hard. island by island. They moved forward. Japan resisted fiercely, but the Allies pushed on. In 1944, a massive invasion began. D-Day arrived. Allied forces landed in Normandy. Beaches were filled with chaos. Bullets flew. Soldiers fell. They advanced, slowly gaining ground. France was liberated. Germany was retreating. The end was near. But not yet. The fighting continued. Cities were destroyed. Bridges collapsed. Railways bombed. Civilians suffered. But hope returned. The Allies were winning. The Axis was weakening. Victory was possible, at last. But one final battle remained. One last push. Toward Berlin. Toward the end. Toward peace. Toward a new beginning. Allied forces moved into Germany. Resistance was fading. Berlin was surrounded. Bombs destroyed buildings. Streets turned to rubble. Civilians fled. Soldiers fought desperately. But defeat was certain. In April 1945, Adolf Hitler made his final decision. He ended his life. Germany surrendered soon after. Victory in Europe was declared, but the war continued in Asia. Japan refused to surrender. Battles continued. Casualties increased. Then came a new weapon, the atomic bomb. Hiroshima was hit. Nagasaki followed. Destruction was massive. The world was shocked. Japan surrendered. The war was finally over. Millions were gone. Cities destroyed. Nations broken. Families lost. But peace returned. Slowly. Carefully. The world began rebuilding. Lessons were learned. Promises were made. Never again. The United Nations was formed. Cooperation was encouraged. The future was uncertain, but hopeful. The scars remained. The memories stayed. History would remember the bravery, the sacrifice, the tragedy, the survival. Humanity endured, and the world moved on toward peace. World War II changed everything. Borders shifted. Empires ended. Technology advanced. The Cold War began. New alliances formed. NATO was created. The United Nations grew. Human rights became important. War crimes were judged. The world remembered. Museums were built. Stories were shared. Veterans honored. Memorials raised. History taught. Future generations learned. Peace became a goal. But conflict remained. The lessons stayed relevant. Courage inspired. Sacrifice respected. Freedom valued. Unity encouraged. The world changed forever, and we must remember. Because forgetting is dangerous. History can repeat itself, if ignored. So we study, we reflect, we learn, we honor the fallen. We protect peace, together, as one humanity. This war ended, but its impact lives on. In every nation, in every family, in every memory. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, please support the channel, like this video, share with friends, and subscribe for more so we never forget the cost of war and the value of peace.